What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Another Monday. Back at it.
Back at it again.
Yeah, so I was just telling everybody why we kind of changed the name. If we want to put it on any other platforms, guys, we wouldn't be able to use Dragon Talk since it's already been used by another podcast. And they've been using it since 2017, so I had no choice. But today's podcast is going to be a banger. We're going to be talking about grocery lists, costs, bugs and costs, calciums, well, not so much just calcium, but like vitamins, minerals, how much that stuff kind of costs, and give you guys some hacks, tricks, tips to the trade.
Whole show.
So, I know in California, it's really easy to get greens. I live right in the middle of the valley of farmland, agriculture. So most of this stuff is readily available for me. So it's going to be interesting. Go back and forth about this because I don't know. Actually, I imagine all this is in Florida just as well.
What's in Florida?
Well, we'll talk like greens, whatever I can find that's readily available, and,
and
kind of what you have readily available. So for the most part, if you're going to the store and you're going to pick up some greens, what are you looking to grab?
So it depends. So if I'm just kind of doing a quick stop just to kind of get me through the week or get me through, whatever, it'll depend. So typically when I'm going for all the animals, I'll go to like Walmart, Fancy Fruit. I'm not sure if you guys know in California, that's just a Florida thing.
Yeah. Never heard of that.
It's like a Hispanic, like a produce spot. Anybody in Florida can kind of explain what it is. It's just pretty much, it's like a Hispanic store, like Bravo. Have you ever heard of Bravo?
we got lots of little Hispanic stores everywhere.
Yeah, so it depends. So when I go, I'm looking to find fresh heads of stuff, or if I want to get like something quick, like if I'm just gonna run a store quick, I'll get a big. I wish I had do I have a container of them? It's stuff like this that I typically just use it to feed the bugs. They're like organic spring mix, just like an organic spring mix. And then
that usually has maybe some red lettuce, some kales, some stuff like that in it. A little mix, right?
No kales, no spinach. It's like baby greens.
Arugula. Arugula, that's the good one. I use that same thing, so I buy actually the same ones. Walmart sells them, Target sells them.
They're like $5 or $6. I typically buy them for the bugs, but I'll also feed them if I'm like running low on greens. I'll also feed them to the dragons as well because I mean everything in there is pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. No, so when I go to the store, definitely if I'm trying to make a quick trip, I just buy one of those, the baby spring, or the red lettuce mix. But I did kind of do a little bit of homework. I went through a whole list of stuff that you should be able to find at the store. And these are just, so this is what your bearded dragon can have. It's not necessarily what we use, but this is a whole list of stuff that your bearded dragon can have. Romaine, collard greens, arugula, red leaf lettuce, mustard greens, bok choy, butter lettuce, squash and zucchini is good as long as it's raw. Artichoke hearts, also raw. Bell peppers, cabbage, also raw. Carrots, cucumbers, but make sure they're peeled so you're not putting too much fiber in. Pumpkins, raw. Turnip greens, yams raw, and kale. So the only thing you really want to stay, I already seen someone say it in the comments that kale was bad. It's not necessarily bad, but it does, you don't want to, one, it stinks, okay?
Yeah.
Let's put that out there. It stinks. Kale and mustard greens stinks. I hate that smell.
Really? Mustard greens? No, mustard greens?
Dude, if you let mustard greens sit in your fridge and then for like a day or two, man, so that's what I mean. If they go bad, they're terrible. They smell hella bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if you let them get like wet and sit for like a day or two.
Collard greens for me.
Collard greens are disgusting.
Quick.
Yeah, they
Whenever
go
I
bad
buy collard
fast too.
greens, I try to buy the smallest head of it because I like to make a big batch of like, so I'll get like 3 heads of mustard greens, 3 heads of turnip greens. I'll get a thing of collard greens. I'll throw some cilantro in there. What else? Dandelion greens, and I'll kind of make a big batch of it, like just kind of all like mixed up. But what goes bad is the collard greens. For some, I don't know why, some reason that's what goes bad on me in those bigger batches.
So when I'm buying like heads, I usually my go-to is the red leaf, the butter lettuce, and bok choy. I just
Really?
have a lot of like Asian markets around too, so like bok choy is like a number one thing they got, and it's super
Huh.
dark green. Butter lettuce is like super readily available, and I get it actually at like the dollar store. They have the living heads of butter lettuce, and it has
Okay.
the roots still attached to it and everything, and it stays good in your fridge for like
Like in
an
a ball,
extended.
right?
Yep.
Like in a ball. Okay.
Experience. So I think they have butter lettuce and red leaf lettuce like that. So those are my two or my three that I go to all the time. But then that's like if I'm trying to make my own greens.
Yeah.
I also add like carrots in there. I like the carrots. Um, I we're not gonna get into fruits and stuff just because I think people use fruits too much and it gives their bearded dragons the runs.
Yep.
For my last video, I got a couple messages like, "Hey, my bearded dragon's pooping a lot," and I'm like, "Well, you're only supposed to give it a little bit of fruits, like literally like 3 times a month, maybe." There's better ways to get moisture content into your bearded dragon, and we'll go over that too. But one thing, so when you go to the grocery store, say you're just buying for the week, you got time to you got an hour to shop, whatever. You're not in a rush. Um, how much do you think on average it costs you in greens?
Hmm. And that's just for the dragons or in general?
Dragons and bugs. Just
Um,
don't include your sugar gliders. I don't know if they eat greens or not, but just don't include
they don't
anything you would
necessarily
get for them. So,
eat greens. Like I mean they can, but I kind of make a little bit of greens in their pre-mixed diet. But for the dragons and the bugs, let me see. So like I said, I'll buy like between 3 and 4 heads of mustard greens. I'll buy like 2 or 3 heads of turnip greens. I'll buy a head of collard greens, um, cilantro.
oh yeah, I didn't put cilantro on here, but that's like, pff, if you have a picky ass eater,
Yeah,
cilantro, that
especially
smell will
babies.
makes
Yeah.
them love it.
Um, and then obviously I'll get those spring mix containers for the bugs. I probably spend anywhere from because each head for me is like anywhere from 99 cents or like 89 cents to $1.30. You know what I mean? So I don't know, anywhere from $20 to $40 because those spring mix containers are like $5 or $6. So those are what kind of get me is for the bugs. But yeah, anywhere from 25 to $40, I'd say, for just the dragons, not any of other animals. Just greens, strictly greens.
So just on greens, you're looking at already, guys. Let's put this down. He's looking
A
at
week,
about a
no,
hundred
week.
and $60 a
That's a
month
week. Yeah.
in greens. Okay. Um, so usually one of those boxes, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I'll go through one of those a day easily. With
Especially
all
for the
my
bugs.
bearded dragons,
For
just
the bugs.
like I'm not even because I only feed carrots to my bugs, and
No,
I
yeah.
buy like the big
I,
bulk
I
bag of carrots and just throw carrots in there
I
constantly.
have to sweet talk my discoids to breed, so that's how I get them to breed.
But just bearded dragons, I'm going through one of those boxes if I'm buying the spring mix a day.
I have a
So
box
in
right
a
here.
month, that's at least $150 that I'm hitting. They're about, like you said, $5 to $6. Um,
They're pretty decent.
yeah. So on the
And
high
this
end,
will come together and later in the episode with about hacks. That's why I keep these. But keep going.
uh, yeah, I actually keep mine too. I'll tell you guys why too later. I don't know if it's the same reason. So I'm hitting about 180 tops. on greens, and he's spending about 160 on greens. That's just in the month to
Yeah.
make sure that they have greens every single day. Because I'm giving my bearded dragons, I'm offering greens every single day.
Yeah.
And that's honestly a pretty good deal right now. But it does get expensive, and it's going to get even more expensive when we start talking about bugs.
Yeah.
So, what does it cost at, like, so don't wholesale, because that'll probably go into the hacks. Because we're talking, if you just got one bearded dragon and you're trying to feed it, we're going to try to get it down to that cost at the end of the day. If you're going to your local pet store and you're buying some bugs, what do bugs kind of go for out there? Because obviously we got different bugs too. But I'm pretty sure you can find at least mealworms, waxworms, and superworms. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you the last time I went to like a pet store to buy feeders. The last time that I went to a pet store to buy crickets or anything like that, they were like 14 cents a cricket, something like that. And then a thing of like 100 count superworms were like.
So when you buy
$10.
crickets for your babies, like how much does that cost you usually?
So I buy them wholesale though so I go to it's a exotic pet shop. They have a bunch of like reptiles and whatever. And I buy a case of 1,000 crickets for $20.
Okay.
So really good deal and that's just me going to pick it up. So $20, you can't go wrong with that. So so that's what I do. And 1,000 crickets will last somebody. Well, to be honest with you, if you have one dragon, 1,000 crickets is way too much for you because
that's gonna die. That's why I'm trying to
die.
say, not on the wholesale end, because if you have one to three bearded dragons, wholesale is not really gonna help you because most of your stuff's gonna die off before you feed
unless
all
you're
of
breeding
it.
them, like breeding your bugs. But yeah, honestly, I would say on average, let's say a baby dragon can eat anywhere from 30 to 50 crickets a day. I'd say, give or take. Like, I mean, I don't know. Every dragon is different, but I would say that's a give or take a good count, right?
Yeah.
30 and 50 crickets, give or take a day, though, not a week, a day. So I don't know, maybe 4 dozen crickets a week at 14 cents a pop, and then obviously mealworms and stuff. Those are anywhere from $5 to $15 for 100 or 500 counts or whatever.
So out here, mealworms are usually like 150 or 300 counts, and it's like $8 and $15.
Yeah.
15 for 300. Then you have your superworms, which are really expensive. Usually it's 50 count cups for like $8 to $10. And then like dubia roaches are, if you're going to like Petco or something, you're ridiculous because you're paying. I don't even want to get into those prices. But at my local pet store, they do a pretty good job. I think it's $9 for 30 dubia roaches. So that's not terrible.
Are they nymphs or are they like adults?
They don't. So their larges are literally like mediums.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, I got larges. I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah. So unfortunately, their larges are like mediums. And then we'll kind of get into some other things. So, do you have butterworms available out there?
Again, I couldn't tell you the last time I bought bugs at a store. Like a
well, are they even legal? So do you know what a butterworm is?
Those are they're kind of like phoenix worms. They're like just like larvae.
They're really fat and red.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've seen them. Like I've seen them advertised. I mean, I don't know. If
so they come from Mexico. You can't breed them because they're like invasive out there. So what they do is they catch them all and then they like gas them so that they can't reproduce. Yeah. And then they sterilize them and then they send them over here as feeders. So there's butterworms and they're like orange or red. They're kind of fat. But those are, I think it's like literally like 30 of those for like $6 too. They're pretty good, but they stink. You can't really reproduce them, so I don't really like to use them. Yeah. But those can get expensive. Roaches, we went over crickets. What about hornworms? Can you get hornworm? Even shipping those are expensive.
Yeah, so the where I go to buy all my feeders, if I'm gonna go in person, it's called Pet Bazaar. Anybody in Orlando, Florida, will know about them. They're for anything that's bigger than something like that, they're $1 each.
Yeah, so I mean
And
that's across the board pretty
you
much.
can get a container of, they say 20, but there's like 40 of them in there for $25. And if you separate them, they'll all grow up and you'll get a good deal. So $20 for like 25 or 40, give or take, because like the counts are off sometimes. So that's a
Yeah,
good deal.
yeah, that's a good deal. But if you got 1 to 3 bearded dragons, those are gonna die before you feed all those off, or you're gonna have some super fat dragons eating straight
Yeah,
hornworms for days.
yeah. I don't. To be honest with you, whenever I buy, I'll buy like 2 or 3 of those, grow them out, like kind of warm them up a little bit, grow them out for like maybe a week, and then just feed them off to everybody. Because I have a lot of mouths to feed, especially the babies. When they're that big, babies destroy them.
So yeah, I like to do the same thing. I think it's $12 for a dozen, and then it's $20 for 24 of them. So because it's 12 in a cup, so they'll give
Yeah,
you 2 cups for $20. And usually I'll go there, I'll get 4 cups, let them grow out, and then literally just feed them off that entire night. Everything will eat them. My Aki will eat them. My monitors
yeah.
will eat them. My
My blue
Tegu
ones.
loves them. My Savannah loves them.
Yep.
So
My
I
gliders,
feed those
them
off
too.
like crazy.
The gliders, dude, destroy them
Oh, I didn't
like
even think about
savages.
that. They eat insects too. That's awesome.
Oh, they eat roaches. I have a video of I had the biggest horn I've ever seen, and I gave it to one of my females that she had Joey's in her pouch. Dude, she snatched it out of my hand and just started going to town on it. I think I have a video of it. But yeah, they're savages. Gliders, people don't understand. They're cute and all, but those things are savages when it comes to eating anything.
Dude, when you said that, all I can imagine was Timon from Timon and Pumbaa just eating all
Yeah,
the big bugs and
just
stuff.
like that. Just like that. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I'll send
so
you a video
awesome.
after a picture, I think. But yeah, they love anything that moves. Like I'll put crickets in like the bathtub, and they'll go savage on them.
So that's hornworms. You guys got super worms out there. You said phoenix worms.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
have a
pretty
local
cheap.
guy. Yeah, I have a local guy that up the street from me. It's cold now, so he has it outside. They kind of die down, and then he goes back up. I get 4,000 larvae cleaned, like they're like in a container with no dirt in them. I think for like $40, which is really good.
Yeah,
Which is
that's
like
a
really
super good
good.
deal.
Yeah. So and they're all alive. They're all good. They're at that perfect stage where they're not all black yet. They're like kind of turning black white. Um, but yeah, like 40 or $50, something like that, give or take. But really, really good deal. Because at the stores here, I think for a small container, those little deli cups, they're like $10, and they have like inch ones, and they all half of them are dead.
Yeah, so out here it's $10 for the 50 count large ones, and then
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
crazy.
$8 for the 50 count smalls, or I think it's 100 count smalls.
That's ridiculous.
What about silkworms? Do you have silkworms out there like readily available?
Yeah, not readily available. There's a guy that's about an hour from me that has some, like here and there. But whenever I do order them or whenever somebody asks me, there's I forgot his name on Instagram. Avatar Reptiles. He sells a
Oh, a
lot of.
Vengtar?
Oh, Aventar. Yeah, he sells them for pretty good deals. But I don't feed silkworms like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so that's who I get. I tried it with a friend of mine. He had like a chameleon cage, and we tried to breed the silkworms in it. Yeah, it was a big failure. So
Yeah,
I won't ever try that. I think I would spend more money and waste more money than I would ever accomplish breeding. I'll stick to superworms and other stuff. Oh yeah, just to go over any questions you guys got. I do see a lot of people asking stuff. Any questions you do have, we're gonna take the last 15 minutes of the episode to go through, maybe 20. I see a lot of stuff going on, but we'll kind of
yeah,
go back through, read through what everyone's saying, check any questions if you got any questions. So please stay till the end if you have a question you want it answered. Um, we'll definitely get to it. So yeah, like I was saying, the silkworms, they're so hard to get for me, unless you
Really?
order them. I kind of changed out the silkworms for the hornworms.
Yeah.
I also use, next on the list, the waxworms. You get waxworms out there?
Yeah, wax worms again. They're at that $10 to $15 mark for the. I think it's like a 50 count or 100 count. The little black containers.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, I don't really feed. The only time I would feed those is if like I have a female that's like about to lay or whatever. But yeah, I don't really feed those to be honest with you like that. Like I don't. It's not a staple for me.
Yeah. So I have gone from waxworms to phoenix worms. I feel like the phoenix
Yeah.
worms are a little bit better than the waxworms. They're also cheaper, and I can order them. I
Yep.
haven't really found a good waxworm plug, so we'll go into tips, tricks, and hacks. If you have multiple bearded dragons, that's where you want to stay. But I kind of do the black soldier fly larvae and the phoenix worms instead of waxworms. Uh, Mealworms. I think you breed mealworms, right?
I mean, I have a little colony of mealworms mixed with lesser mealworms. I just kind of have them all together, and they seem to be doing well. But again, I don't buy those local either. Everything I buy is all wholesale stuff. So I think those are cheap. Those are like $5 for like 100 count or something like that. They're pretty cheap. And at
Yeah.
every pet store you can think of.
Mealworms are pretty cheap, and I mean, like, I'm pretty sure you could go on Craigslist anywhere you live and
Find
find someone breeding mealworms.
somebody that has chickens. A lot of people that have chickens breed mealworms for the chickens too. I've also noticed that.
So, I try not to use mealworms. I do use the small mealworms. I've kind of gone from small mealworms more to the lesser
Yeah,
mealworms
maybe.
for the babies. Uh, they have a thinner exoskeleton, so it's easier for them to pass. I don't really like small mealworms. I don't like mealworms, honestly. I think they're kind of lack in nutrients. You can get more nutrients out of the superworms that
Yeah,
have a thinner exoskeleton. So if your bearded dragon's big enough, you could probably find a size of uh, what was I saying? Of superworms that'll work better. But if you
sure.
can't, definitely supplement with mealworms. You do want to change up that diet. What about pinkies? Do you ever feed up pinkies?
Yeah, only to my adult females that are like I said that have eggs cooking or just got done laying. But other than that, I don't really feed them as a staple or ever unless they have a female that has eggs or just laid eggs.
Yeah, so I kind of do the same. Well, I do it 2 times a year. I guess it's kind of the same time of the year though.
Yeah,
So when all my dragons are kind of warming up and I'm getting ready to start breeding them, and they've kind of been off of food for a little bit or not eating as much, I try to fatten them up a little bit, get the
yeah,
metabolism going, and I give them a pinky or two here and there. I have some females that are a little bit bigger that will smash probably 5 pinkies if I would let them.
oh yeah, it's like my Savannah monitor, dude. He's a savage.
But I just try to do that when they come out of brumation, which they don't totally brumate, but when they kind of go off of food, that period of time right before I start turning up the temps, changing my light cycle, getting everyone to breed, um, that's when I start feeding a little heavy on the pinkies. And then after they breed and lay a clutch, I then start feeding them a little bit more on pinkies, so get some protein in there after they have just went through that whole cycle of making eggs.
Yep,
Try to help restore those fats and proteins,
yep,
um, get some weight back on them.
for sure. Yeah, that's one of the reason why I feed pinkies. I have pinkies pretty regularly, but and all my females will destroy pinkies. But yeah, I don't really greens. All my adults are pretty much on green, superworms, black soldier fly larvae. I'll throw them a disco roach here and there, like an extra male or whatever. But yeah, pinkies no. That's not really in a diet. Like their diet, like every day, every month kind of thing.
Yeah. So remember, guys, we're going over a list of stuff that you can give your bearded dragon, not necessarily what we do give our bearded dragons. You heard what he feeds his. If you guys follow me on Instagram already, you know that I pretty much only give my bearded dragons: Superworms, Dubia, the Beardy Buffet, and Grub Pie on top of their greens. That's pretty much their diet here. I try not to stray away from that. The babies, on the other hand, they get different stuff. Obviously, babies can be picky. They do other things. They need other foods. Picky dragons to eat. But on the insect side, I would say on the low end, if you're not having a very diverse diet, you can get away with about $50 a month. On the high end, if you're really trying to push the variety in what you're feeding your bearded dragon, I did a little math. It's probably about $120. So if you add that on top of your greens that you're paying, that would be on my end. I'm paying $300 a month. He's probably paying at least $245 if he was greens that his dragons are going to be eating. And for you guys, that would be different because most of that is going to go bad. If you have 1 to 3 bearded dragons, you're not going to be able to buy in huge quantities like that. One of those containers might last you 3 or 4 days, but once you open it, day 3 and 4, it might not be good anymore. So you just wasted money, unfortunately. For sure. But bearded dragons, when you get into it, it could easily cost you anywhere, I would say, from $150 to $300 just on greens and bugs a month to feed him the proper diet. Yeah. Buying all that would just be like, so wholesale is also another thing that gets complicated. When you have, 1 to 3 bearded dragons, you don't need a wholesale bugs unless you plan on breeding bugs, which is very time consuming. And if you do it, good luck. If you're trying to do that, good luck. It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
I would say wholesale kind of kicks in around like anywhere 6 to 10 dragons where it starts making sense.
Adults though.
Adult dragons, not babies. If you bought 6 baby or juvenile bearded dragons, you don't need a wholesale. Maybe like on the 1,000 level, like wholesaling 1,000 crickets, 1,000 superworms. Usually when I put in a wholesale order, I'm taking in about 5,000 superworms, 5,000 dubia. So I'm making pretty big orders. I got a decent collection. I got 16 bearded dragons on top of babies, holdbacks, and juveniles. So we do go through a lot, and it takes a lot to feed them. But for you guys at home, I would maybe even lower that. I would say about $75 to $150 a month for 1 to 3 bearded dragons. You could probably get away with having a decent diet, but take that into account. It's not cheap.
I have a good example. So I have a lady. She's been buying bugs for me for probably a year now. She's an old lady, doesn't like leaving her house, has a baby from me, and just would rather me drop her off, whatever. She gives me, depending on her budget or whatever, because she's, like I said, she's older, anywhere from $20 to $30 to give. So whenever I buy my big bug orders, like he said, whenever I buy bug orders, I do between 1,000 to 3,000 crickets. I'll do 5,000 to 6,000 superworms. I'll do the 3,000 to 6,000 black soldier fly larvae. I'll do what else? The roaches. I buy them just to put them in my colony to grow them up. What else do I buy? I'm trying to think. Well, but anyways, and she'll give me like $20 or $30, and I'll bring her 200 superworms and probably like 4 dozen crickets, and that pretty much gets her through 3 weeks, probably, I'd say. So let's say a month. So she gives me, let's say, $40 a month, and her dragon does not miss a meal at all, and he has everything that he needs. So I mean, you could, like you said, $50 a month if you're on the shorter end, But on the if you want to buy roaches and all this stuff, then yeah, it definitely gets a lot more money. Where you're looking at 150, $200 just for one dragon though, not 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So you guys, we got the shopping list out of the way. Now we're gonna go into some tips and tricks. One thing a lot of people have been asking me lately, I'll get into this real quick, is with the basking temps, changing the wattage of the lights. So
Yeah.
there's two ways to change the basking temp of where your dragon is. There's putting something to raise it so it could get to the light closer, and there is increasing the wattage from the light so that it puts down more on its basking spot.
Yep.
There's also some other things you got to take into account though. Now, when you lower the wattage on your light so that the basking spot is getting cooler, you have to make sure that the cool spot of your cage is still warming up enough. You can't have too low of a watt just to get that basking temp perfect.
Yep.
But your cold spot is too cold. One thing I've seen, so if it's a wattage issue, you'll notice that your basking or your cool spot is way too hot. So if your cool spot is too hot, that's when you want to change your wattage, and don't change it drastically. Change if it's like 10 degrees, 25 to 10 watts will probably do it. Don't go from like if you're using a 75, don't go straight to a 25.
Yeah, that's
Definitely look at the
25.
temps.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I just want to get out of the way real quick. A lot of people have been asking me about the lights on my cages. I don't know why. That's literally like the most interesting thing right now to people is asking with the lights. But we'll definitely get into that.
Well, I have a hack for the bulbs if anybody is interested, because we are talking about hacks. I don't know what do you use reptile bulbs, or you use like a hack bulb?
So I use 5-age. You can buy them on Amazon. It's literally 6 bulbs for like $10. They're UVB A and UVB combo bulbs. I use 25 watt bulbs. They come in 25, 50, and 75 watt bulbs. So I don't use ZoomEd. I don't use Exoterra.
The small ones.
Yeah, here I have one right here. So they come in a little box like this.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
It almost looks like a nano. Okay.
Yeah.
These things work amazing, and you get literally 6 of them in a box for. I think I have a box. Look, I'll show you. So they come like this. You get one of these that has 6 bulbs in it, and I think I paid no more than $14, $15, and usually you're paying that on one Exoterra 50 to 75 watt bulb.
For sure. Yeah, the hack that I use for lights is, if anybody, I don't know where everybody's from, but Home Depot, they sell these Philips bulbs. You can either get a plant light, you can either get a floodlight or a spotlight, depending on what you're trying to do. I get the Philips floodlights. I think you can get 2 of them for like $11 at like a 65 watt. I wish I had a package. I don't have a package, but they just look like, I had one that just went out. This one bulb will last me 3 months, probably, give or take, 2-3 months. Obviously, you gotta watch out how close your basking spots are to your what's it called, to your platforms, whatever. But yeah, that's what I got sick of paying $15-$20 for a reptile bulb that is the exact same bulb as the one from Home Depot. So I was like, you know what? Let me mess around with the plant light, and then I started kind of messing around, and yeah, that's what works for me. All my lights are from Home Depot, and they last me a lot longer than the ZoomEd ones or the other reptile ones that you're paying for the reptile ones, and all my temperatures stay super consistent, like really consistent. So I don't know what brand. Somebody does go for the brand. I don't know
So
what.
yeah, this one says 5 age, and it even says UVA, UVB, Reptile Light. Like I don't know if you guys can read. My camera's gonna pick that up, but it says UVA, UVB, Reptile Light. Look them up on Amazon. But bro, they're super good. I've used my UVB meter. Nothing is over 3% or 3.0. So I'm hitting perfect on that. The heat is amazing. A 50-watt bulb that I had was actually working too good, and the
Yeah.
Exoterra 50-watt bulb I had in there wasn't working good enough. The 50-watt Exoterra bulb was barely getting my basking spot to like 101. The 50-watt 5H combo bulb I had the spot at 130, bro. I had to drop them down to 25-watt bulbs because the 50s were just working too good.
Yeah.
So and now that I know that, I've been using those in all my cages. So almost every basking bulb I have now in this place is either a 75, a 50, or a 25-watt 5H combo bulb. Literally the best hack I could pass off to you guys is bam, that right there.
Yeah, I learned something new too, because whenever I just ordered, I told you I ordered those cages, like kind of like yours, and I'm looking because I like how yours are small, so they're not so bulky and like ugly like mine. If you look at how they look in the tank, I mean they're not too bad, but you know they're kind of big. So, but I mean they work, they're cheap, they last me a lot longer than all the reptile ones, and that's another hack. So if you want to do the Home Depot hack one, or if you want to do the one that you said on Amazon you get them from.
Yeah, I just get them off of Amazon.
Yeah, send me that link after we get off of live, because yeah, I definitely want to start working with different kind of lights, kind of get a different.
Definitely, if you're using stacks, you want something like that too, because your bottom cage is going to be cooler than your top 3 cages, so the heat is going to rise. You do have to watch for that. I put all my basking bulbs on the same side of each cage, so that I've seen people stagger them. So this side. Well, the heat from this bulb, I feel like warms the cool spot above it. So I try to keep all the heat bulbs on the same side. So you know, and I got a little space in between cages, so that the heat from that side isn't all going off to the other side. You know, it gets tricky. You'll have to play with it when you do the stacks. But for sure, the best bulb setup is that I've had is the ones that I got. They're, like you said, they're super small and compact, so they don't stick out much. Super cool, and they put out like a nice, perfect circle right above. Every bearded dragon I have fits in that circle. I haven't found one that's too big. So,
and then. Yeah, I know. I'm definitely gonna order something for $10. You can't go wrong. You know what I mean? If they don't work, you throw them out. $10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely worth a try for $10. Shit, it's
for
one other bulb.
For $11, people maybe people do know about this hack, but Hyper Tough, they're black light fixtures. They fit a 22-inch UVB bulb, and they're $11 at Walmart. So all my cages that I need a UVB bulb, like for the thing, that's the fixture. They're about $11 on Walmart. Obviously the bulb costs more than the fixture, but this fixture has been running strong for like I think 6 months. And normally a fixture from like Carolina's custom cages or whatever is like $50 for no light. So that's a hack that I found that somebody actually gave me not so long ago as well. So I wanted to pass on that favor. But yeah, they're just black lights.
So, if you go, I don't know if they got a lot of hydroponic stores in Florida, but out here we grow a lot of weed. So there's definitely hydroponic stores, at least 2 or 3 in every town that you stop in. So I go to all the grow stores, and they literally have the same thing, like the little $10 to $15 plant light T5s. That's what I use in everything. They come with the brackets and everything. You just screw them in with a 1/2-inch screw to the top of pretty much any melamine or PVC wood enclosure. The only thing,
tape them.
Yeah. If you have like a screen top enclosure, they do have the ones too that have the reflectors, so they kind of sit on your cage better.
Yeah.
You don't have to screw in, but those are usually a little bit more.
Yeah, like I have one right here that's from Carolina Classic one or whatever. This bulb was like 50. I mean, this fixture was like $50 with no bulb.
Sheesh.
It's pretty. Don't get me wrong. It has a reflector, but that one I just showed you for $11 does the same thing. And people can say, "Oh, the reflector or whatever," but I use them for the melamine enclosures or whatever, and the UVB is on point. Everything works good. So I mean, I don't really see a huge difference with the reflector not being there, in my personal opinion.
We got a dope company out here called Lugardi. I actually got their hat right here. Shameless, plug real quick.
Okay.
Lugardi's got literally they try to make like affordable reptile products, and
Yep.
I use a lot of their lights because I want to say it's like $15 to $18 for a 24 inch fixture, but they have great products that you can find, and like they do the same thing. I'm pretty sure they're just buying uh, big bulk loads of like
Just
nice
cheaper.
grow light and fixtures, and
Yep.
then product branding it. They work with someone that's making these lights, but they're not out, charging you $50, nothing like
Yeah.
that.
With
They
no bulb. With no
Yeah,
bulb.
that's ridiculous. So the Lugardi ones don't come with a bulb, but they're only like $16 to $18, I think.
That's
They're
not bad.
pretty cheap, and if you know where to get the plug on bulbs, like me now, they're only $24 for some Arcadia bulbs. If you need that, hit me up in the DM. I'll shoot you the plug.
Yeah, that's not bad. And I just ordered some from Cool Dragons, the Arcadia, the C5 ones with the bulbs. I think they were $60, I think, with the bulb for the 48-inch ones.
Oh yeah,
And
that's good.
you can't beat that
Yeah,
for the 4 foot ones.
yeah, that's real
That's
good.
gonna be for the baby rack, for the baby tubs. But yeah, I was like, when I saw the thing, I was like, oh, I need those. You can't beat that price.
Oh yeah.
And they last longer, the bulbs too. Well, not last longer, but they're good for a solid year.
Yeah, Arcadia bulbs. So
Yeah.
I will say they'll last at least 8 months. For sure, you're getting 8 months out of them. What is I was using something else before. I don't even remember. Probably like Zoom Ed or something.
Probably.
Literally almost every 5 to 6 months. Like on the
They were
dot
dying.
every 5 to 6 months. Not even that, just the UVB would start going out. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know if you have a meter for testing that, but
I honestly I had one, but I bought it like second handed, and I don't know. I just don't know where I put it because it started giving me like weird. Like I would have it like out, like with no lights on it, and it would give me a reading, and I'm like, all right, this thing is broken. So
oh
and
yeah.
I don't know how to fix it or whatever. But those get pricey though. Those little meters, holy shit.
I want to say it was $300. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're expensive.
I
I went
think
to
I
go look for a
spent
new one. I'm like, Jesus.
I think I spent $300 on it. All right,
Yeah.
we got a ton of people in the chat today, so we're gonna go back to the top, see what we got here.
And last hack before we go into questions. I use these little containers to give all the babies baths. So I'll put them like a little inch of water in there, and I'll separate all different the different bins that I have. Like each bin will get a little container, and then soak them in, and then you can either throw them away, use them as feeding dishes or whatever. But yeah, that's what I use these for. These little containers. I have like 10 of them.
So I'm glad you brought that up because actually what I use them for is when I'm chopping up my own greens at home, I put paper towels in between the layers of greens, and it'll
Nice.
keep your greens, if you wash them off and layer paper towels in between the chopped up greens in those same containers, they'll last way longer. They'll last weeks.
No, for sure. Yeah, that's a good hack for me too. I just put all my greens in a big bin. Hey, have a good one, man.
All right, guys.
How's
Dude,
it
we
going,
got
bro?
so many people in here saying what's up. It was live tonight. Thank you guys all for the support. I heard Kale is bad for dragons over time. We did go over that.
and so is spinach.
Yeah, I don't ever feed off spinach.
No, for sure. Or iceberg.
Let's see what we got. Spring mix has no kale. Yes, you're correct. I hate pet store feeders. So do I. Usually they have nothing in them. There's no nutrition there.
You open their container and they got potatoes in there.
Damn, Texas is expensive. 17 cents for crickets, 25 to 50 cents for dubias. Sheesh.
Where did it go? What is your favorite basking bulb? The Philips brand ones. Cheap and they work good and they hold temperatures good.
Yeah, as you guys, there's multiple brands that do these UVA, UVB. You don't have to use 5-inch. I just like that hack. Amazon is my favorite light supplier.
For sure. How many times do you guys feed a day? For me, my adults eat their greens in the morning, and every other day I'll throw them some bugs. The babies have their greens first thing in the morning, and then when I'm on break for work, they'll get their bugs, and then they'll get more bugs when I get home from work. And then they have about anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours to digest, and then their lights turn off.
So I feed, if you guys know, my bearded dragons are actually nocturnal compared to all of your guys's, because my lights go on at 5:30 p.m. and off at either 6:30 or 7:30, depending on what light cycle they're on, in the morning. So I feed them at about 7 o'clock at night. Everyone will get their greens after about an hour of being awake, lights on. And then about the 5th hour of their light being on, I'll put bugs and Beardy Bar in their greens if they haven't finished their greens. I saw this girl. She said, I thought mealworms cause compactions usually. My friends told me not to buy them. So the reason you don't want to buy mealworms really, it's not that they're necessarily bad insects. They just have a very thick exoskeleton and they're low in moisture content, which that's where you get the cause for, or that's where you can cause impactions, is because you have a thick exoskeleton with no moisture and you build up almost like a plug in your bearded dragon. Now, if you guys ever do get a bearded dragon that's compacted, a nice fat mealworm dipped in castor oil will clean your bearded dragon out in 45 minutes. Feed that to your bearded dragon and then put it in a nice warm bath and you'll have an explosion in no time.
Jesus.
Giant mealworms are good. Giant mealworms actually aren't that great. All giant mealworms are sterilized mealworms that grow bigger. They don't go into the cycle of turning into a beetle. They just kind of continuously grow. So all a giant mealworm is a small mealworm that kept growing.
Yep.
Our legacy reptiles, it's hard to find a good deal on supers. Hit me up in my DM, dog. I got you.
You're about to get 100 DMs right now.
I know. I got the plug on supers. It's a stupid good plug.
I have a local guy. I have a local guy too. I just bought 6,000 for $80.
Yeah, and he can contest right here. It says it's tedious and you need patience for breeding bugs. Literally the most boring thing in the world. It is like watching paint dry and grass grow. I'd rather do both of those things than breed bugs.
Yeah, I have a colony of discoids that I've had for like a year and a half now, and I haven't pulled from them at all. Except for adult males that I have too much.
Yeah, he brought, actually, I'm glad I saw that too. I do use a 50-watt bulb in all my bottom cages, and the top ones above that are all 25 watts.
Yeah.
I just told somebody that,
he was on here earlier, that we were talking about it, and he was having problems with his like the temps or whatever, and I told him that obviously he knows this too, but heat rises to try to get a different wattage bulbs on the tops and then or on the bottoms or however put the more of the watts on the bottom and then the less because obviously the heat rises. So I wonder if that worked for him or not. But yeah, it's another little trick, especially for the PVC enclosures because they hold heat and moisture like so good. Like if you want them to be humid, they hold humidity really well, and if you don't want them, they also hold it really well too.
Yeah, definitely. The bottom one, so it has no heat coming up from the bottom. That's why you guys can have that higher wattage bulb, because there's no heat coming up from the bottom. It's not retaining heat, nothing like that. As you can see, mine are on the concrete, so I probably should raise them up on 2x4s like I told you guys to. I just haven't gotten around to that because what the 2x4s do is help the airflow under it so that they're not sitting on the concrete, which is really cold. So their cages probably dry off too soon. Or cool down too soon, and or just faster than I probably want to. So that's something that I need to keep an eye on is what the temps are at night. With the not the temps in the cage, but the actual temps of the bottom piece of PVC. Because if that's getting below 70 because of the concrete, that's when the 2x4s come in to help because you can get airflow under there. With airflow, you get heat, and then they won't cool down necessarily as fast or get as cold.
Sure.
You can see all my bearded dragons back there. So I got most of my males and females paired up, if you guys don't see them bobbing back there. But I got 4 pairs right here in this stack. And then I got 1 female over there waiting for a male. I got a male coming in from Extreme Dragons, Arizona. We're going to do a collab. She's a, this is going to be a little plug for you guys. So whoever's watching, be ready for this because hopefully this year we have some red wits. What's going to happen is she is a translucent, het for hypo, possible 66% het for wit. He has a hypo dunner het for 100% het for wits that we're going to breed to her. So then we'll have possibly some het trans hypo dunner wits if everything comes out like
if we hit one dragon.
Yeah.
2 dragons.
And yeah, don't be expecting to buy that dragon either because I'm not selling it.
No.
That one's mine. I already got a name for it, everything.
Yeah.
So that's a big project I got in store. I'm really excited about that one. You guys will see that male maybe here this week or next week. She just hit like 420, 430 grams.
Nice.
So by the time he gets here, she'll be at my sweet spot of 450 and be ready to pump out some babies. And hopefully we get some of those red hypo het trans wit dunners would be nice. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking for a adult females. I really want a high yellow female for my male, but nobody seems to have any of them available.
Dude, like a lot of people say the citrus has kind of died off, but it has not at all. No one wants to sell their super, super high citrus. Like the normal looking yellows, and the kind of like dull looking ones. Everyone's selling those, but where the bananas? Where the bananas? Where the super bright yellows?
He's super freaking washed out, but yeah, this guy's yellow.
Yeah, he looks like he might even be going in the shed soon.
Yeah, on his head and stuff, and I just woke him up. But yeah, he's super yellow. I got a picture of him all fired up, and him with a normal scale female. I don't care if she has no hets. I'm looking for just color.
Yeah.
And he's a powerhouse too. He's a hypo het trans leatherback genetic stripe.
Nice. So, hell yeah.
Can't go wrong with him, you know what I mean? But yeah, nobody wants to sell me any, and I really want a nice male, another like a red male, because he's my only male that I have right now. My other male, Taruk, he's retired. He's an old boy that shoots blanks.
Do you follow Snapdragon?
Yeah, Snapdragon. Yep.
Yeah, the red male I picked up from them, that dude, you should see who he's paired up with. Is gonna be a kid. I guess
Yeah,
I'll
she
stop
actually
talking
has
about
a
it and just showed
she
you.
actually has a female. That Snapdragon, you said, right?
Yeah.
She has a female that she has that's really really nice. She's hypotrans, but I have a lot of females, so I kind of not a lot. I only have 1, 2, 3. I only have 3 right now, but they're
So
all
look,
powerhouses. Yeah,
there's
he's really
that
nice.
G-stripe male.
That's from her.
Yep. With this
Nice.
girl. So whoever's watching, you guys are gonna get the little plug. Here is my super barred up citrus male with my citrus female.
In a year or so, I'll have this is one of my holdbacks. Super barred up too. Damn, he's nice.
With my little citrus female. And my wit. My other red female.
A couple of the other boys I'm growing up. Damn, these videos wash them out.
Dude, once you get those cages, it's going to be insane. Your pictures, you're going to be like, oh my God, these bearded dragons don't even look the same. My posts are amazing.
Yeah, I get them in March or something like that. So it's like every week I'm like, oh, Jesus, when am I going to
That
get
UVB reflection in there, it just, I don't know. It's definitely taking the picture quality to the next level.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I can't wait. Just a waiting game. It's like 10 weeks I got to wait for them, but it is what it is. I've been waiting long enough for them anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, we're going to be around forever, right?
Hey, man, I've been doing this a very long time, just not on Instagram. So.
Yeah, there's no rush. We're going to be here forever, guys. The takeover is real. All right, guys. Well, that was another great podcast. The Pogona Experience is going to be every Monday at 6 p.m. We appreciate all the support.
Yes.
Josh had some awesome hacks. Be sure to hit us up in the DMs if you guys have any questions or if you guys want us to bring up any topics.
Yeah, please.
And if we don't answer you right away, it's because we actually have jobs, guys. I'm sorry to say that. I know most of you guys probably thought we were just cool and got to stay at home all day. But we both work very hard. So DM us, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. If we do use your topic, we'll definitely give you a shout out.
For sure.
We appreciate all the support. I think today was one of the best podcasts yet. I seen 15 people on the podcast the entire time. We'll see at the end right now how many people actually tuned in tonight. But we really do appreciate it. All of this is coming to you guys because there is no other Bearded Dragon podcast. There's no other place for information on bearded dragons. And bearded dragons aren't as easy to take care of as everyone thinks. There's a lot more to it. They're not the simplest reptile. They are maybe the most basic reptile you can start with. But just because they're basic doesn't mean they're simple. There is a lot that people don't know, and we're trying to bring that to light. We want to put out information that you can find easily, that's readily available for everybody. It shouldn't be a secret on how to breed. It shouldn't be a secret on where to get tips. Information hasn't really been put out in probably the last 5 or 6 years, so that's why we bring this podcast to you guys. We hope it helps you guys. Please let us know. Show us support. Every Monday, if you guys could reshare the flyer in your story to get more people to the podcast, that also would be a great way to support us and help us. It's free and easy. If you want the flyer, I'll literally DM it to you, or you can just go to my page and repost it from there onto your story.
Episode 10, we are talking about doing a giveaway. Not sure exactly what it is, but there will be some sort of giveaway. Not sure exactly what kind of giveaway, but there will be something. What the episode is this, 7?
This is, yes, I believe episode 7. So 3 more.
Episode 10. So just stay tuned for that. We'll keep you guys posted on it. And we appreciate every single one of you guys that's tuned in before, during, or after. So we appreciate it.
And like always, we will be uploading this to YouTube for everyone that missed it. Tell your friends about it. Or if you just want to, you tune in at the end and you want to see some of the stuff that happened in the beginning, it will be on Redzone Reptiles YouTube channel, episode 7. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.